The Supreme Court is weighing the fate of a man sitting on death row right now and whether racial bias played a role in a previous trial. Curtis Flowers has been tried 6 times for quadruple murder, but he maintains his innocence. The Supreme Court heard oral arguments in the case of Flowers versus Mississippi yesterday, and Judge Clarence Thomas asked his first question in 3 years, making the case even more notable. Our Jan Crawford is outside the Supreme Court this morning with more on this. Jan, good morning.
Good morning. Well, for 30 years, the Supreme Court has been clear. You can't remove people from juries based on their race. But defense attorneys say that is exactly what happened in Curtis Flowers' 6 different trials. Now, the first 5 either were overturned or ended in a mistrial. Now the Supreme Court is weighing whether or not race was a factor in his 6th. The justices said they were disturbed and troubled by the prosecution of Curtis Flowers, who's been sentenced to death for the 1996 execution-style murders of 4 people inside a Mississippi furniture store.
Here's the photographs.
All 6 trials were prosecuted by District Attorney Doug Evans, who eliminated all or almost all of the prospective black jurors every time. The killings rocked the small town of Winona.
If you're black, we got you.
Last year, the Peabody Award-winning podcast In the Dark examined Flowers' different trials, finding that 61 of 72 jurors in his 6 trials were white, in a county that's about half black, and every white juror, when he was convicted, voted guilty. Evans told the podcast he was confident of Flowers' guilt.
That I will answer, definitely. No question at all.
The families of the victims said in a statement, "We are confident the right person is behind bars." But Flowers' lawyer, Sherry Lynn Johnson, told the justices his conviction was tainted.
Doug Evans began jury selection in Flowers 6 with an unconstitutional end in mind, to seat as few African-American jurors as he could.
In that 6th trial in 2010, Flowers was convicted and the state Supreme Court upheld the death sentence, saying this time Evans had reasons not related to race for striking the prospective black jurors. The justices, liberal and conservative, weren't persuaded. Justice Elena Kagan, the numbers are staggering. Justice Brett Kavanaugh, you can't just assume that someone's going to be favorable to someone because they share the same race. Now, Justice Clarence Thomas asked a rare question. He suggested that at the trial, lawyers on both sides had race on their mind because Flowers' lawyer had struck only white jurors. But Justice Sonia Sotomayor pointed out that that's because that's all that were left. Prosecutor Evans has struck all but one of the black jurors. We expect a decision in May or June.